Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Kaylee and these are my books. So for today's video, I'm starting my Peace Talks vlog, and if you don't know, Peace Talks is a little 48-hour readathon within Realmathon, and if you don't know what Realmathon is, it's a readathon created by Cassidy that I am one of the co-hosts for. I'll leave Cassidy's announcement video linked in the description box down below. If you are watching this video in April, it is not too late to sign up for Realmathon, but it is too late to participate in Peace Talks because that's what this video is about. So the point of Peace Talks is every book within this 48 hours counts as 10 extra bonus points. So that means it's kind of fun to finish as many books as possible within this 48 hours. And I already posted a Peace Talks TBR video where I basically let you write in the comments and have you choose my TBR. And how this vlog is going to work is I will choose one book for myself, and then you will choose a book for me, and then I will choose a book for me, and then you will choose a book for me, and we'll go back and forth like that. When you choose a book for me, I will use a random comment generator. I've put the link of the YouTube video into a randomized comment generator website, and it'll pull up a comment, and I have to listen to that comment. This is going to be a vlog full of me reading short things, so it's going to be full of me reading novellas and graphic novels and manga and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the vlog. I just made dinner and it looks so good. I wish I had a plate, but I only have a bowl. Unfortunately, my 3 plates are all dirty right now. But I made roasted asparagus and a pork chop, all seasoned a bunch. The pork chop has a bunch of barbecue seasoning on it, and the asparagus, listen, this sounds weird, but the asparagus has Montreal steak seasoning on it, but that is the best seasoning for vegetables. I swear by it. I put it on all of my roasted vegetables, but I'm about to tear into this. Just ignore the fact that it's in a bowl and not on a plate. Hello, it is kind of later than I wanted to check in, honestly. It's 10:30 p.m. on Friday, so Peace Talks have been happening for 4.5 hours, and I'm only 40% through my first book, which I did end up choosing for myself the first one. So the next book I will let the comments choose. But for the first book, I ended up choosing A Prelude to Ashes. I just really wanted to read this one. This is a prequel novella to one of my favorite fantasy books of all time, A Touch of Light, and I wanted to make sure to get it in, therefore I chose it first. It's taking me a while, not because of the book though, but because sprints have derailed a little bit. I'm currently on the kickoff sprints on Cassidy's channel. Oh my gosh, ow, Teddy, he's falling, ow. He just kicked me in the head so hard, oh my god. Oh, but anyways, like, we're doing kickoff sprints on Cassidy's channel right now, and let me tell you, they have devolved into chaos. If you're here, you know what I'm talking about, but if you didn't watch the kickoff sprints, we went on a huge tangent about a smut book that isn't your typical smut book. It's potato smut. I don't know why this exists, but it does, and Rye read a lot of it and then was updating us all. It was so entertaining and so funny, but it was obviously very distracting too. But let's get back to A Prelude of Ashes. I am 40% of the way through and I'm loving it, like loving it so much. I think it's so much fun. I think it immediately sucked me in. I was invested from the first 10 pages. If you don't know too, this ebook is free if you sign up for Tiago's newsletter on his website, which I'll leave his website linked in the description box below. So if you're interested in reading A Prelude to Ashes, you can also read it for free. And you can read it before or after A Touch of Light. I'm reading it after because I heard of A Touch of Light first, but I know a bunch of people who read it before and loved it a lot too, so it's up to you if you want to read it before or after A Touch of Light. But I am reading it after, and if it's not already obvious, this is a epic fantasy novella. It's around 150 pages, so 40% of the way through means I'm maybe on page like 60-ish. It's just so good. It's so good. It follows Adrian, who is one of the main point of views in A Touch of Light, and Adrian was actually my favorite point of view. So I was very happy to see that Adrian is the main guy in this. And we also get a lot of Mira content. Oh, now Teddy is knocking off pillows. Oh my gosh. But we got a lot of Mira content, which if you've read A Touch of Light, you know she's not a big feature in that book, but she's mentioned a lot. And so it's really cool to see Mira and see her in action. And I love her. And so I'm thoroughly invested. I love the plot and I love the characters right now. Tiago just does combat so well, in my opinion. The combat scenes are exquisite because a lot of the times I zone out during combat in fantasy, but for some reason Tiago's combat scenes hook me each time and I find them really exciting. So I'm having a great time. I'm gonna finish it tonight even though it's already 10:30. I'm gonna stay up and finish it and maybe hopefully get in one other book before I go to sleep. But I'll update you when I'm either farther along or when I finish the book, depending on how long it takes me. All right, I finished A Prelude to Ashes. It is currently 11:30 p.m. on Friday night, and so I'm pretty happy with finishing my first novella. It's actually much shorter than I even thought because I finish it at 67% on the ebook because the last bit was just chapters, the first couple chapters for A Touch of Light, and of course I've already read that, so I was done with the prequel novella at 67%, and I do highly recommend this. I thought it was a super fun time. I really enjoyed learning a little bit more about Adrian's backstory and getting to experience Mira as a character. I thought the plot was pretty exciting, although it's just so short, you know, so there's not like a ton going on in this book, but for how short it is and for its purpose, I think it completely works. I think you can read this before or after A Touch of Light. If you're on the fence about A Touch of Light, I think this prequel novella really gives you a good chance at seeing a bit of the world, seeing a bit of the religious systems that are so intriguing in this book, and seeing a bit of the characters and some of the politics that are going on with them. So, you know, I recommend this if you're on the fence with A Touch of Light, and I recommend this if you've already read A Touch of Light and you just want to experience a little bit more Adrian, because who doesn't want more Adrian? I love Adrian. So I'm giving it 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. But again, it's just so short. You know, it's a solid 5 stars for what it is, but there's just not a ton of content in it. But that's what it's for. That's what it is. It's a novella. It's very short. Again, you can get it for free from the author's newsletter, just as a little taste test, a little sampling to get you to experience a bit of the world and a bit of Tiago's writing. So I loved it. Very happy with it. It did make me want to reread A Touch of Light right now, but I'm resisting that urge. But because I finished my first book, and I chose my first book on my own, I am looking at my computer right now because I'm on this webpage that will randomly select a YouTube comment from my TBR video so that you can choose my next read. So I'm going to make sure that I am screen recording. Okay, I just hit record and now I'm pressing start on starting the raffle for it to select a winning comment for me. Ooh. Allison's comment got selected, so I will be reading Lore Olympus Volume 2 as my next read, which I'm really happy about because my phone is currently dying. I need to charge it, so I didn't want to have to read on my phone, and I own Lore Olympus Volume 2 physically, so I can actually read a physical book next. I'm excited. I'm happy with this comment. Thank you, Allison. Thank you for giving me this comment because now I get to read Lore Olympus Volume 2. Hello. I've literally just woken up, but I'm already ready for an update. I was just laying here. Oh, Teddy really wants us to go out. Come on. We'll go out in a second. You gotta wait for me to give this update. Come here. I finished Lore Olympus Volume 2 last night, and I really liked it. I'm giving it 4 stars. But, like, I didn't remember how heavy it was. And so, like, a lot of parts of it, I'm just like, dang. This is, like, a kind of a downer. Like, this is making me sad. But it was really wonderfully done, and I really would like to continue on in the series, but that's the only one I own, and I would like, I think, to own these, because these are, like, good enough that it would be nice to own, so I need to grab Volume 3 eventually. I can't do it anytime soon, because I've just spent so much money on books, but soon I would like to get it. I just sat up so Teddy would stop, maybe attacking my feet. I don't know, we'll see. But I just, since Lore Olympus was chosen for me by you guys, more accurately, by Allison, I get to choose my next one, which is awesome. And I think I'm going to choose an audiobook because I just love listening to an audiobook when I'm still waking up in the morning. I need to take this one on his morning walk, and then I need to make coffee, and so it'll just be nice to listen to an audiobook. I'm trying to decide. My audiobook options are the Ali Hazelwood novellas or Murderbot. think I'm feeling Murderbot this morning, so I'm gonna start listening to that, and I will update you all when I'm partway through or when I finish, depending on how fast that goes. I finished Fugitive Telemetry and I had such a fun time with it. I'm giving it 5 stars. Murderbot just feels so cozy and comfortable and familiar to me that I have such a nice time whenever I read it. It just really feels like I'm at home reading the next installment of Murderbot. I don't know. It just gives me such nice, warm feelings when I read it because Murderbot is kind of wholesome. You wouldn't expect it from the name, but Murderbot is wholesome, but yet also exciting because there is the Murderbot shenanigans and the combat. And I just found this installment like so fun, giving it 5 stars. I really enjoyed seeing the connections that Murderbot made with other robots and other people in this. And I thought the detective shenanigans were quite fun. Like there were some moments when Murderbot was having to use their detective television shows to inform their terminology because they were investigating a dead body that turned up. And it was just overall a very good time. So because I chose Murderbot, you guys get to choose my next read. So I need to redo the screen where it chooses the comment because I got some new comments in, so I need to make sure those are all included. So I'm gonna go do that. Fingers crossed you guys choose something good. I don't really know what I want, like maybe a graphic novel, but honestly I'm kind of open to anything right now. So we will see what gets chosen, and I'll cut to that right now. All right, I have the comments ready to go on my computer. I'm pressing record now and I'm hitting start now. Let's see what gets picked. Ooh, interesting. Okay, thank you, Magdalena. A Psalm for the Wild Build. This is really cool. I'm excited to read this. I think I'm gonna love it. Honestly, I had no intentions of reading this book during this weekend for Peace Talks. I just threw it in because it is a novella that I own, but if I was choosing all for myself, I would not have chosen this. But this is a fun, nice surprise, and I think this could be a big winner for the weekend. So, yay, yay, fingers crossed, it is 5 stars. I'm excited, yay. I finished Psalm for the Wild Build. Let me grab it actually. Here is the book. I finished it. It has such a cute cover too. Like, I didn't even notice the robot and the monk, the tea monk on here before, but there they are. So cute. And I'm happy to say I really, really enjoyed this. I think I'm giving it 4 stars. So it's not like a new all-time favorite, but I had such a nice time with it. Again, it just felt like a very comforting read, and I really enjoyed these character interactions. Oh, I just hit myself in the face. What the heck? But I just love robots in books. Robots in books are so fun to read about. And this, of course, has a robot in it, hence it being on the title, on the cover. And so this robot book, it's just so nice to see like a robot experiencing human things. And then let me give you the premise. I haven't been good about doing that in this vlog, but I feel like what I've read so far has been so popular. You've probably heard of it. This is popular too, but the basic premise is we have a human, and they are a very beginner, very novice tea monk, which basically they serve tea to people and they kind of act as the person's therapist. But they have a lot of self-doubt. They're not super good at it right now because they're just beginning. But then they're trying to go on this life journey, find their purpose, and they meet this robot. And the robot is sentient. Basically, a while ago, humans made robots to do a lot of stuff that humans didn't want to do, but then robots gained consciousness and they kind of moved off in the world and made their own like robot area. So robots and humans don't interact at all. So this is about a unlikely friendship between the two, and the two helping each other out because the robot has a purpose to figure out what a human needs. Which, of course, that's a very difficult question to answer. And this human here is trying to figure out how to be a better tea monk and how to be happy in life and how to have a purpose in life. And so it's a very nice read. It's a very sweet read. I really enjoyed it. It's so short. I'm happy I own this, happy I read it. Giving it 4 stars. I do want to continue on in this series. So if this gets chosen again in the comments, I think I will try to find the next one. If it's even out, I haven't done any research. I think it's out. Maybe it's on Hoopla, I'm not sure. I actually listened to part of this on Hoopla, which was nice. So then, since this was selected for me, I get to choose my own book to read next. And I think I'm choosing Promised Neverland, which is a fantasy horror manga series. And I've never read it before, so I will be trying out volume 1, but I've heard amazing things, and I know a lot of you all voted for it in the comments too. I have so many volumes of it. So if I land on a Promised Neverland comment in the future, I will just pick up the next volume of whatever I'm on. But for right now, I'm picking up volume 1. I was feeling a bit sleepy. It's 3 o'clock on Saturday. I just finished Psalm for the Wild Built. I haven't yet started Promised Neverland, but I decided to go get some Starbucks because I need to be up for so much longer and I'm going to be on sprints for so long. I need to make sure I don't end up falling asleep at any point. So I put in a mobile order for my Starbucks for a venti salted caramel cream cold foam cold brew. It's been a while since I've gotten that drink. That used to be my go-to drink, but I'm excited to revisit it, retaste it. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. But my Starbucks is like 2 minutes away, so it's not that big of a detour, but it is a bit of a detour. I'll show you a clip of the coffee when it's in my hand. So a little bit of a change of plans because I am at the pool right now and it is wonderful, but because I'm at the pool I didn't want to be reading manga because it's like too short and too annoying to keep switching between, and I don't want to read on my phone because I have this floaty, which I'm not like sitting in the best right now, but I can sit back a little bit more and then read. But I brought, if I can grab it, which maybe isn't the best pool read. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke, by Eric LaRocca. It is a horror novella collection, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, so I'm gonna read through some of the novellas in here, and I'll update you probably at the end because I don't want to keep like updating you in the pool. but I am very excited. I also have my coffee here at the pool. I'm gonna put it in one of these drink holders down there. So I'm gonna float around and read some horrible things in this book, and I'm super stoked. Hello, I got back from the pool. I also took a shower, so I have clean hair. I did not brush my hair after the shower though, which is very obvious, I am realizing, but I finished up Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. Where is my copy of the book? Here it is. Finished this lovely book up. Well, actually, I only read the first novella, which is the first 150 pages. There is another novella in here and then a short story. I loved it. I loved it. It's 5 stars. This is probably my favorite thing I've read so far this weekend, actually. Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke was so crazy, so weird, so messed up, but so freaking good. It was a very weird vibe at the pool though. But I liked it. Like, I liked the juxtaposition of a nice, lovely pool day with some of the most disgusting stuff ever in the book. Like, it just worked. It just worked. Basically, this novella is about some women that meet online over a apple peeler being sold, a vintage apple peeler, and they're kind of just messaging each other back and forth. One is selling it, one is not one is not selling it, obviously. One is selling it, one is buying it. And then they become friends and things get weird. Things get real weird. I don't want to tell you more about it than that because I think it's best if you go in not knowing anything, but there's a scene in here, because I was floating in the pool, right? So, like, I was in a bathing suit. A lot of my body was just, like, exposed to the air. I could see lots of my skin in the moment. And there is a scene in this that was so disgusting and so disturbing that I watched in real time. Goosebumps cover my entire body. It was hot. I was not cold. The goosebumps were not natural goosebumps. The goosebumps were from this book, from the scene in this book. Oh, it was gross. It was so gross, and it was so good. But, like, this book gave me the physical reaction that I could see, so that was, like, cool. That was really cool. I really liked it. I am tempted to just immediately go into the next novella in here. What is it called? The Enchantment, I think it's called. Please hold. Here we go. Yeah, The Enchantment, which is 100 pages, so a little bit shorter than Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. So that one is about 140 pages, 150 pages. So 40 to 50 pages less, but I think I love Eric LaRocca's writing. I think I'm a big fan of it. So I am tempted to go in, but I'm not going to cheat because I did finish the first novella. I logged it as its own thing. So technically I should allow you guys to choose my next read. So I could always revisit this novella after I read whatever is selected for me. So I'm pressing record on my computer. Start. Let's see. Oh, Rye's comment. That's fun. So Rye wants me to read Spy X Family. So that is what I will be reading. I will be reading volume 2 because I already read volume 1. So that is exciting. That should be a quick read. And I loved the first volume so much. So I'm really happy to be reading volume 2. Thank you, Rye. I'm happy with this. Glad it chose Rye's comment. Hello, I'm updating. It has been a little bit since I've last updated because it is Sunday at 11:47 a.m. So basically I got a really bad headache, which sucks. It was such bad timing yesterday, but it was the kind of headache that I couldn't read, couldn't do anything. I had to jump off a sprint and I was just laying in a dark room because it sucked. It sucked. Really bad timing again for the 48-hour thing. But I think the only thing I didn't update you on was that I read Spy X Family Volume 2 because of, it got selected for me and I loved it. I'm giving it 4 stars though. I didn't like it as much as the first volume just because I found like there wasn't as much humor in it, but I still loved it. Like, do not get me wrong, I still loved it, but I just like Volume 1 more, and so I gave Volume 1 5 stars and Volume 2 4 stars, but I'm excited to continue on in the series eventually. And so then it was my turn to choose a book, but I didn't choose anything last night because, again, I didn't read last night, but I have been reading this morning. And I chose kind of an odd book for this because I chose a full-length book, but it's because my audiobook hold, I've been listening to an audiobook this morning. My audiobook hold for Last Tale of the Flower Bride was expiring today at some point. And so I needed to read it. And it was a 9-hour audiobook, so on 3 times speed, only 3 hours. Like, that's not terrible. So I've just been listening to that. Let me grab it for you so you can see what the book looks like, because I do own it. Let's see. Oh, God. I own it somewhere in this mess. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here is the book, Last Tale of the Flower Bride. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I think I might start following along with the physical book, so I'm glad I grabbed it. But this is a gothic horror fantasy book that really, in my opinion, feels like an equal mix of horror and fantasy. And it's so good. So the premise is basically this man who is like a poor young professor is researching this specific artifact that this rich woman who is really mysterious and really like classy is not the correct word, but she is classy. She's basically like this like enigma of a person, and she has the artifact, and so he asks to meet with her, and to his surprise she says yes, and they end up really connecting in this meeting and they get married. But as he is learning more about her and her family and her past, things are a little weird, and then the book switches to having 2 different point of views, one of his present day point of view and one of her childhood friend's point of view back when they were children. And this is set in a world where magic may or may not exist. Honestly, it's kind of like up in the air of if this is really happening or not. It's one of those books where it's like, is there this other world? Is there not? But basically that's where the magic is centered around, where it's the potential, the possibility for this other world to exist, like a world of fairies and stuff like that, and people potentially disappearing into this other world. And this really feels just like such a dark, whimsical, fairy tale-esque horror book. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I really like the atmosphere. I really like the general feeling to this book, the general tone of this book. And I do think though that this book is really slow moving. So if you're someone that's looking for like a wild adventure, you're not gonna find it in this book. It's super slow moving and just exploring these character dynamics, and it's much more an exploration of character than an exploration of plot or world. But I am intrigued. I really like the dark gothic tones to it. And there's a bit of pretentiousness involved as well. So even though there isn't a ton of academia in here, of course, the man who marries the woman is a professor, but that really is in the background. However, this book overall feels reminiscent or adjacent to the dark academia genre. So if you like dark academia books, I would recommend Last Tale of the Flower Bride because it's giving me some similar feels. It's just not in the school setting. So it's dark academia adjacent in my opinion. But I'm really, really loving this. Did I even tell you how far I am? I'm 45% of the way through right now. So I'm hoping to finish it really soon, and then you will choose my next book. So I'll check in once I'm done and we can figure out what I'm reading next. Hello, I just finished Last Tale of the Flower Bride and it was really freaking good. I think I'm giving it 5 stars. I've given so many things 5 stars in this 48-hour readathon, but I'm having the best time reading these books. This one just really hit me. Like, I really cared about these characters, and it was specifically not an exploration of individual characters, but an exploration of characters' relationships with each other. So we see some friendships and some romantic relationships in this book, and those relationships are what are explored in the book. And I just like the toxicity, the codependence, and how that can tear apart your own individuality. I really appreciated what was going on, and I thought it was beautifully done. And all of that conversation happening amongst this really gothic, spooky atmosphere that's slightly magical but very dark fairy tale-esque is just, it was incredible. I loved it so much. And I meant to tell you this at my earlier check-in, but I forgot. But I feel like a scene that kind of sets the tone of the book happens right at the beginning. This is not a spoiler. It happens in the first couple of pages, and it's really just in the background. This is not involving any of our main characters. But at the beginning, we're at a restaurant, and there are there's a couple that are having dinner together that our main character is noticing. And basically it is a wealthy man with a woman who is obviously not as wealthy as him, but they're having dinner together. And he puts on this whole show of having her pick out a diamond. He's gonna give her a diamond tonight. And like a lot of people are like crowding around them and they're like, oh my gosh, look at all these diamonds. She's so happy she picked out a diamond. And he like playfully puts it in her glass of champagne and is like, here you go. Here's the champagne and the diamond. And so she is all happy and like, whoa, this is cool. Rich people are so awesome. Like, I get a diamond. And she goes to take the diamond out. And then he's like, no, you have to drink it. I didn't tell you could take it out. You have to drink it. And you can dig through your own filth to get the diamond. What the heck? What the heck? Like, So I feel like that kind of shows you how like dark this is, but in a subtle way. And that's just a quick comment, and then we move on. And so it's one of those things where like it's easy to look past it, but then when you sit and think about it, you're like, that's so messed up. She has to consume it and pass it and find it herself to get the diamond. Like, what? So I just loved that book. And I'm really happy I read it. I know this is not going to be a book for everyone, though, so I want to be careful with how I talk about it, because while I loved it, I think so many people are going to dislike it because not much happens. The plot is really not there. It's really an exploration of these character dynamics, these character relationships with this cool atmosphere. So if you need a plot, if it sounds boring for you to just explore these character relationships with this weird atmosphere, like, don't pick this up, because the plot is not going to be enough for you. There is a very, very, very in the background plot, but it's not much. It's way more just like meandering, following these characters over a brief period of time. So if you are a character-driven reader, though, you might like this. I am not typically a character-driven reader, so I don't know. I can never predict when I'm going to like a character-driven book and when I'm going to think it's boring, but I did not think this was boring. I thought it was wonderful, and I'm very happy I read it. However, since I chose this book for myself, I am now switching over to my computer that's in front of me here, and I'm going to allow you guys to choose my next book. So I'm pressing record on my computer, hitting start here. Let's see what gets chosen. Saga. Ooh, interesting. So I'm going to reread the first Saga. That's going to be really quick. It's currently 3:19 p.m. and the 48 hours ends at 6 p.m. So I have a little bit less than 6 hours, but I think I still have 40 minutes left in this sprint. So I'll probably read Saga and then maybe even pick my own thing for the next one. So I don't know what I'm going to pick myself. Maybe I'll read the first 2 volumes of Saga. I don't know. We'll see. But next up is Saga. I finished volume 1 of Saga. It was such an enjoyable read. I loved it just as much second time around. I've read the first 6 volumes of Saga like a long time ago, like a year or 2 ago, and I loved them so much, and I really wish I had continued on this in the series, but I didn't. So that's why I was wanting to potentially reread them. So I'm glad I was able to start my reread, because this first volume was literally such a joy. I'm giving it 5 stars again. That's what I gave it last time. That's what I feel like it deserves for a second time. And I'm definitely going to be rereading all 6 volumes, plus, you know, going past where I ended before. I just don't know if I'm binging it like today or not, but over the next like month or 2, I really would like to continue on with this series. But for now, since you all chose Saga, I'm choosing my next read, and I think I feel like reading volume 3 of Spy X Family, so that is what I'm doing next. I just finished Spy X Family volume 3, and I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it 4 stars. Again, volume 1 is still my favorite one of the 3 that I've read, but each one is just so fun. This one, volume 3, I'm just gonna say the brother relationship is weird as hell. I can't tell if it's supposed to be that weird. Like, are we getting incest in Spy X Family? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. That was weird. But moving on, the whole rest of it was enjoyable. I just don't know what to think about that brother. We are going to have you guys choose the next one. So, Lock and Key. Thanks, Bridget. I'm excited to try that. I was hoping I would get to that. So I will be reading Lock and Key Volume 1 next. Hello. it is me. We are at the end of the video. I did end up finishing Lock and Key. However, I didn't finish it before the end of Peace Talks, but I did read 60% of it during Peace Talks, and Cassidy said if you finished 50% within Peace Talks, it's okay if it takes you like a couple minutes outside of the 48 hours to finish up your book, and you can still count it for Peace Talks. So now Peace Talks is over, and I have officially finished Lock and Key. And man, was that way more dark than I was anticipating. I don't know why I thought this was like for kids. I don't know why I thought this was for kids. I know there's a Netflix adaptation of this, but I have never seen it. But I'm thinking maybe the trailer made it seem like it was for kids or something, and then I just assumed the graphic novel was for a child. I should have known with Joe Hill being one of the writers. Like, that should have been a red flag. But alas, I went into it and I was surprised. I was quite surprised because this is a fantasy horror genre blend, and it does not shy away from that horror. There is some gore in this graphic novel, so, you know, be aware. Don't be like me if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff. I'm not sensitive to that kind of stuff, so it was good. But I mean, don't be like me thinking it's YA. It's not. It's adult. It's like there's full horror in there. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. It took me a second to think about that because I was like, maybe 5 stars, but I think it's a 4-star enjoyment, but it's a high 4, it's a strong 4. I think it's just like there wasn't as much emotional attachment as I needed for a 5-star book, but it was still super good, and I'm excited. I want to like continue on. I have the first 5, I think, from Kindle Unlimited, which, heads up, I read this first one on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have KU, you can also be reading Lock and Key. Even though we're at the end of Peace Talks, I have so many more graphic novels that I could potentially read for this month. I have a huge stack sitting in front of me here, so many more downloaded on my Kindle. So let me know down in the comments if you would be interested in a little 24-hour vlog where I do this again, just on my own. There would be no extra points involved, but I let your comments choose everything I read for 24 hours, and it's going to be the comments on the Peace Talks video, so it would be more graphic novel stuff. I don't know. Are you interested in that? Are you not? I thought it'd be kind of fun because I feel like I want to read even more graphic novels than I got read. I feel like I missed out on a lot of like peak reading time in this video, because for like 7 hours of it, I was out of commission with a headache, which sucked. Like, dang headache. It took me off for like 7 hours of reading time, and then I went to sleep. And imagine how much more I could have read in those 7 hours. And I did decide to read a full-length novel too, which was not the best decision. Maybe, maybe not, but it's what I needed in the moment, and I do not regret my decisions. I ended up finishing up 10 books. Here are the ones that I own physically. I read 3 graphic novels, the first of which was Lore Olympus Volume 2, which I gave 4 stars to. And then I reread Saga Volume 1, which I gave 5 stars to. And then I read Lock and Key Volume 1, which I gave 4 stars to. And then I read 2 mangas, and they were Spy X Family Volumes 2 and 3, and I gave 4 stars to both of them. And then I read 4 novellas, one of which was A Song for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, which I gave 4 stars to. I read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which I gave a strong 5 stars to. And then I read A Prelude to Ashes, which I gave 5 stars to. And I read The Last Murder Bot, Fugitive Telemetry, which I gave 5 stars to. And then last but not least, I also read a full-length novel, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, which I gave 5 stars to. So this literally was like such a great 48 hours for me. I can't believe I gave everything 4 and 5 stars. And like, there are a lot of new favorites in this. I would say my top 2 reads out of the 5 stars are Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I just really loved both of these, but I think if I had to choose like a top favorite, it's probably this Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke novella. It was just so messed up and so weird and so wonderful. Let me know down in the comments how you did during Peace Talks, and like I said, if you're interested in me doing a future 24-hour version of this video, because I feel like there's so many more graphic novels and novellas that I wanted to read and just didn't have time to get to. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!